Welcome to Classics Confidential, and this week I'm interviewing one of my colleagues from the Open University, Dr. Paula James, who works on many different aspects of Latin literature and Greek and Roman myth. I'm going to be asking her today about a painting that's by Joseph Southall, is that right?
Yes.
And when roughly did he paint this image that we're looking at now?
This is Ariadne on Naxos, and Joseph Southall. It was exhibited in 1926, although I wouldn't be surprised if people familiar with 19th century styles, subjects, composition thought, whoa, this is much more of a 19th century painting, and I feel it is, and it was regarded as rather retro when it was exhibited. It is the myth of Ariadne abandoned by Theseus after she has helped him kill the Minotaur, find his way out of the labyrinth in Crete. So it's a myth that is very much enmeshed with the whole Cretan family and Cretan legends generally. Ariadne and her abandonment by Theseus, and then her rescue by the god Bacchus, who arrives on the island of Naxos where she's been left deserted, was very popular in Greek and Roman art, and in subsequent painting in Renaissance traditions too, and beyond, and into modern art. There's Theseus leaving in his ship. Either he's forgotten or the gods have forced him off the island.
Why has it got a black sail?
Well, Theseus was supposed to take the black sail down, so his father back in Athens, Aegeus, would know that he had been successful in killing the Minotaur and he was returning, and Theseus forgets, seems to have been in a very forgetful mode at this point in the myth. He forgets this as well, and Aegeus throws himself into the sea because he thinks his son is not returning and has failed to kill the beast in the labyrinth.
So in a way that ship's referring forward to events that are going to happen later on for viewers that know that aspect of the myth.
I was just intrigued at the presence of the parrot there and wondered what it signified, because in my experience in art and in literary texts, the parrot is a very rich symbolic presence as well as a quite nice, quirky and eccentric physical presence at times. This is a New World parrot, Amazonian blue-fronted, which is not actually classical. It's not the kind of parrot they would have known in classical times. It's oriental and exotic. Could be some sort of, I don't know, a little present from Bacchus or symbolic of Bacchus going to arrive very soon. The parrot also is able sometimes to be quite prophetic, and we could go down a whole fascinating path here talking about what birds represent in classical literature, what they might represent in epic. I mean, they can actually be omens for things within the text, for the people within the text. So for Ariadne this might be something's coming on its way, something perhaps bright and colourful and beautiful, and perhaps she could be reassured by it. For us looking from the outside at this painting, it could have a presence that's much more kind of metaphorical. The parrot is often something that's liminal, between worlds, and Ariadne's in between a lot of things here, life and death. In some of the versions of the myth she hangs herself or she's killed by the gods on the island. And she's between lovers, and she's between distress and joy, perhaps, at being rescued by the god. And the parrot can be a voice from another world, especially the world of Hades, of death. And that is something birds can represent in classical literature. Another interesting thing I found is the parrot is also a symbol of fidelity and monogamy. In captivity they tend to be more monogamous. So whether this is a bit of a paradox, a paradoxical parrot in that the faithless Theseus has just left, is it a consolation prize from Theseus as he left to the parrot? Well, I can't stay, but here's a nice faithful bird to compensate you.
There's no wonder she looks so upset.
Well, she does look, she's not happy. I mean, and she's certainly slightly baffled. And again, she a bit like the parrot is slightly perched, isn't she?
So is she looking directly at the parrot? It's hard to tell.
I thought she was, and other people who've looked at the painting are not so sure. I suppose what interests me too about Bacchus arriving and about the parrot is if we wanted to make the parrot represent another aspect or a double of Ariadne. They're both beautiful creatures who are colonised. The parrot often represents, you know, imperialism and colonisation in literature and art as well. And maybe they are locked into a gaze together because they're a kind of a mirror image of each other as those sorts of creatures. Maybe the last laugh is on us. This is just a nice drawing room decorative parrot, and we're actually loading all kinds of cultural and intertextual baggage upon it. But I enjoy doing it.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it? Well, thank you very much for talking to us about this painting and showing us some of the subtleties that are involved. It's a really fascinating representation of Ariadne, and hopefully we'll have more interviews with you in the future about other aspects of your work.
That would be great.
Yeah, thank you very much.